This is Adamantly Analog, episode 68. This week we're talking about games with small rules, but pack a lot of game. Hello and welcome to Adamantly Analog, episode 68, the only podcast recommended by 10 out of 10 doctors. I'm your host, Corey Murphy.
And I'm your other non-doctor host, Harrison Dunn.
Yeah, I didn't say that I wasn't a doctor, but I think it's clear.
We don't recommend our own podcast.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean we don't recommend our own podcast. It just means that we're not doctors. I am dragging right now, Harrison, but guess what? I am going to leave it all on the floor for the people. I am going 110% in this podcast, full energy. You can't stop me. No pauses, no breathing, all talk, all board games, all the time.
I got Nikki on speed dial, so when you just drop down in the middle of recording, she'll be able to come get you real fast.
Yeah. Man, I was just mentioning off the cast. I went to a concert last night, was up late, have a very early day with school, and today was just one of those days, man. I don't know what was in the air. It was like maybe there's a full moon. Is there a full moon?
During the day? Probably.
So you know what we need recovery. We need to talk about board games.
All right, let's re-energize with that good cardboard.
Oh, yeah, that good cardboard. Speaking of, I attended the Strong Tower Gaming Convention this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, you sure did.
Yeah, so I played a lot of games. Oh, it was great. It was really good. Strong Tower attracts a lot of local and regional designers, which is really cool. Lots of cool folks around, and lots of opportunities to play test some new games. So I got to do that. Actually signed up for one that didn't fire because the person that was running it got sick.
Oh, no.
And that was actually Glenn Drover, the designer of Mosaic. He was there playtesting his game. But yeah, last minute he's like, "Hey guys, I came down with the con crud, but stop by and I'll give out some free games." So walked away with a brand new copy of Raccoon Tycoon instead.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know what the protocol is for talking about playtesting games, so I'm not going to go into depth on which, what they were, but I did have a really good time playing Kane Klenko's new game, and boy, that was a really exciting, eventful game. And I don't know, like, can I say, Harrison, is this allowed? What?
I mean, like, as designers, as far as designers go, like, usually talking about is not a big deal, but if you talk about something, then you're setting expectations for a thing that may or may not actually get published or be published in the form that you play tested it in. So
Yeah, okay, legit.
Yeah, that's the disclaimer, right? So if you want to talk about a cool concept or a good time you had, that's great. But
yeah,
for anyone listening, specifics, don't take them seriously because those things change all the time.
Totally fair, and that's kind of where I'm going with this too. I just wanted to mention it. It was like a concept for a real-time cooperative game. So really fun to dig in. It was late at night on a Saturday, so the real-time element of it was hampered by our ability to think at that point in time. But
Oh yeah,
really fun, and just the idea of playtesting these concepts. It's cool to, like, I don't know, just engage in the conversations about, well, this could be this, and maybe we could improve this. And, everyone's got different ideas that they bring to the table. It was really eye-opening to see what all of the different players had thought about the experience.
I hope you're coming to Proto Spiel Madison this year, Corey, because it's a whole weekend of that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I am. I'm really looking forward to that. I did get to play test my own game too. I mentioned that I was working on one. I think I can say I'm realizing now I need to really be pushing this thing, because as I put it up on the signups for Strong Tower, there's really no like example of what the game is, because I don't have a BGG entry yet. I don't have photos anywhere. So the Woodland, it's a working title for a game I'm doing. It's like a kind of like a poker deck builder. I think it's kind of more light on the deck building, but a bit of deck builder, poker, area control. And I've got a pretty solid prototype made with all printed cards from the game crafter and a playmat and stuff. So if you're around the area and you're looking for something to do, I'm definitely gonna be hosting that at some of the local cons coming up. Please check it out. I'd love your feedback. But I actually played that one with Conzi and Suzanne from
Wisco Dice.
From Wisco Dice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that was cool. But
Man,
man,
look at you
cons are
just
so good.
name dropping all those people. So cool.
Well,
it.
I'm telling you,
I love
it's just
it.
good representation from our vibrant board gaming media and designer community at this convention, and I mean, that's the kinda stuff you get to do when you go to these things.
Heck yeah, get involved, make cool stuff, have great times.
Make cool stuff, have great times, spend a lot of money on food.
Yep.
Buy too many board games. They have a consignment sale there, Harrison, and I know I don't need more board games, but I have to look, right? I ended
Mhm.
up taking home 2.
Oh, yeah? What'd you get? What'd
Yeah,
you get?
I got Oh My Goods,
Okay.
$5. It's a little
Oh,
Alexander Pfister card game.
yeah,
I wanna play
that's
that
a
for a
real
while.
good value.
You know that one?
Yep, I used to have it.
Oh, sweet, okay. And
Yeah.
then I have the Mad Titans Shadow expansion for Marvel Champions.
Ah, that's what you sent that video of, to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about you? What have you been doing?
Well, okay, so I gotta go on a little bit of a rant here. Played Lightning Train with Lauren and our other friend, and fourth time playing it, discovered I missed a pretty significant rule in the
Oh.
form of an exception to a rule that was buried in the middle of a paragraph and not highlighted or italicized or bolded or anything like that. Just kind of nestled in the middle of a paragraph and then never referenced again. We discovered it because there is reminder text on one of the cards in one of the 20, 30 card decks, and in any given game you see like maybe 7 or 8 of these across the entire table. So I just hadn't seen it yet.
Hmm.
But high level, it's a bag building game I've talked about a couple weeks already. Bag building game, you're building trains across the US, and one of the things you can do is build a rail line from a station. There's a bunch of requirements that you have to fulfill in order to be able to do that, but you do so by placing cars from your boarding area, your active supply on your player board, onto the board. Well, there's a little rule buried in there that I did not realize that if you are building attached to a station you control, you get a one train discount. You get to take
Oh.
that one from your supply and like your general supply instead of your player board, drastically changing the early game economy of that game.
Mm.
um, yeah, so we continued to play like that, and the game felt way better. And we were a little bit past the early game at that point, but still, it made a huge difference. And I I come on, Direwolf. You can do a little bit better than that. It's just a general thing for like rule books and teaching games. If there is an exception to a rule, it needs to really be highlighted and called out, because that is the easiest way to miss something is an exception. Uh,
Mm.
and as
Yeah.
an aside, it's like a game design thing. If there is an exception to a rule, try to do everything you can to get rid of that exception, because that's the thing that's going to trip people up the most and make the game more confusing.
Yeah. The more
Um,
specific rules you have in the game, the more likely it is to overlook something.
mhm, mhm. Yep, exactly. So, uh, I 4 times, 4 games of Lightning Train now, and I'm really liking it, and I think I'm gonna like it even more after a full game playing, more correctly, because 'cause I'm not ruling out that I've missed another rule somewhere. I've gotta reread the rule book again once or twice. Um, but, yeah, I've been super enjoying it. So,
Nice.
yeah, read your rule books carefully, and then, much as I loathe to say it, reread it again.
Y
Maybe take a highlighter to it the first time and just like highlight anything that you think you're going to forget or that feels like an exception that's not called out properly. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
who is the king of that publisher-wise is Fantasy Flight, because they
Yeah.
have all this Ameritrash depth to everything, and theme is so important to them that they try to work the theme in with these kind of bizarre rules sometimes that you really have to dig through the rule book to find. Whenever I'm playing a Fantasy Flight game for the first time, I am always just searching the rule book for about half of the experience, because I'm the
Yep.
type of player that wants to know everything and how those interactions work. I wanna do it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from. Uh, when you're writing a rule book for the woodlands, keep that in mind.
I know, I'm finding this is a challenge. We can't all
Oh,
be
yeah.
Reiner Knizia, right? Where everything is just clean and, succinct. Yeah, coming from a Magic the Gathering background, it's easier to tolerate that sort of thing, and I think it makes
Right.
you a little
Right.
bit numb to it sometimes.
Yeah. So all this is like an excellent segue into our episode topic, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, so
Because I don't think
perfect.
we've said it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what?
This week, we're talking about games with small rules, but tons of gameplay. or in other words, clean rules with lots of ways to interact with that. So simple rules, big game, uh, teensy weensy teach, and uh, Mondo Jumbo Gamebo. You're not going to stop me at any point, are you? I'll just keep going. Okay.
No, no, you just keep
Um,
going. Yeah. Okay. Well, the first player rule for this Mundo Jumbo Gamebo event is I guess this comes from modern art, Harrison says. I like it. The youngest player receives the hammer and begins the first auction.
yeah, Corey, take that hammer. Begin that auction.
We were born in the same year though, right? I'm not going to say it, but
Were we? Oh,
I
you
think
can
we're the
edit it
same
out.
year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, that would make sense if you're November. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got me by a couple months there, Harrison. I need to change my list though, because as you're describing this one and you're saying clean, succinct rules, depth of game, I'm gonna have to make a quick audible on here. So
Well, I can
boom.
preface all this too by saying the gold standard of like simple rules, big game is probably the good doctor, Dr. Reiner Knizia, right? He's just known for having
Mm,
those real clean, simple rules. You can say, hey, this is a Knizia game, and the rules are this, and then you do this, and you win by doing this, and now we're ready to play. Like just really simple, easy to teach, but provides lots of interaction and depth of play. So starting with
yeah.
that as like a base point, we can spin off from there a bit, right? We're gamers, so our tolerance for ease of teach and light rules is a little bit different than your average player, but the concept is still true. We love those games that have just a little bitty rule set or some, real simple concepts that do a lot with them. And then you get to have some really crazy experiences all within the same rule set.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I like games where it's like, yeah, don't worry, it's an easy game. The depth comes when you start to make your decisions, right? So I think this my first pick is a big example of that, and that is innovation. Assuming you're playing with someone that knows how to set it up properly, you can get this game going in like actually 5 or 10 minutes. But the first turn always starts with players going, "Oh, okay, I get it," and then looking at their hand and trying to figure out what everything means. Then,
Yep.
because these cards, I mean, first of all, these cards have no art on them, so it's just a bunch of text. And the rules are so unique to this game. They're very Carl Chudyk in that they are. I mean, they use terms that don't always make sense to represent the actions that you're going to take, rather than taking an action on a card, we use the word dogma. I don't know why. It's just fanciness. Okay. But your choices on your turn are very straightforward. You're either drawing from the deck, or you're playing a card, which is called melding, or you're using a dogma effect, which is using an action on a card. Okay. That's the concept of this game. Or I'm sorry, or you can achieve. That's the other one. That's how you score points in this game. Okay. And achieving is kind of checking your point threshold against the available scoring cards that you can then take. But the interactions with the cards are insane. And the considerations you have to make on each of those turns are deep as heck. I mean, you can't just take an action without understanding how it's going to impact your opponents. Because the way that those are settled is you take the action on the card, you compare the number of symbols on that action's icon to the number of symbols that all of the opponents have. And if you have fewer than another player, that player also gets to follow that action. Okay, so there are all sorts of consequences to this sort of thing because those actions play out really differently for different players depending on the setup they already have. And in some cases, it's like, oh, this action's really good for me, but it's like way better for them. So I have to know the impact of that decision. Beyond that, all of the actions, unless they say may, are mandatory. So some of them that could be good for some players are actually just bad for other players. For example, you might be upgrading a stack to a higher level, whereas another player already has surpassed that level and they would be downgrading. I mean, it's a Civ esque game because the cards are named after civilization concepts. But beyond that, it really is just its own thing. And that understanding of what this game means, what it's trying to do, and how you play it takes probably more than your first play, to be honest with you. I don't think you can just figure this one out. I think you have to like kind of be in the know on innovation to really enjoy it. And it's worth the squeeze though. It's worth the effort. I love this one, Harrison.
I don't know what you're talking about, Corey. I understood it after the very first time I played it, and I definitely won, probably.
Maybe you did, I don't know.
I
But
don't remember.
you're even after our 5th play, we probably didn't know what the heck was going on. At the very least, this one leaves you thinking, "I wanna explore that more, I wanna learn more about it." Right?
Yeah, yeah.
You feel that way? Yeah.
The things like the game tells you can do is, oh, I just choose one of four things to do, and then all the complexity comes from the replayability and the cards and the different abilities on those cards, right? So
Mhm.
if we talk about like a simple rule book, yes, this is a simple rule book, and then the complexity comes with the individual cards and how they interact with it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really wanted to pick a game like this, and I didn't do one specifically in my. Well, I did one that was kind of like this, but like that modular setup and replayability with a simple rule set, I think is super valuable and pretty rare.
Mhm. Not to mention, this game is also a small package in a small price tag. So as far as small games go, it is not only small in terms of the teach depth, it is also literally small. So it
Yeah.
can fit on your shelf really well. It's also super portable and then packs this big, meaty decision space in, something you could almost fit in your pocket. So love it. Innovation 2010 from Asmati Games.
Cool. Great pick. All right. Well, I'm going old school, like when we were kiddos, old school. But I didn't play this when I was a kid because I didn't play fun games when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I don't know why I just gave myself that dig there for no reason. So this is a Reiner Knizia game, and one that I'm more familiar with. That's why I picked it over his other ones. But this is Money from 1999, originally published by Rio Grande Games, but it has been republished by All Play this year, so it's much easier to get, and it looks a lot nicer. So Money is a game about different kinds of money. There's a big deck of cards, and each card has the picture of a type of currency on it, like US dollar, British pounds, Chinese yen, uh, rupees, etc. I think there's six or seven different types of money, and you get a hand of those dollars, and it's a set collection bidding game from there. You deal out two piles of face-up cards, one to the left and one to the right of the deck, and then everyone secretly places a bid for the right to pick first, draft first from among the face-up piles. You reveal, and then the highest bid is going to be able to take one of those piles and then replace that pile with their winning bid. And then you go around the table in order of highest bid to lowest bid. And you're trying to collect as much as you can in a single denomination or a single type of dollar. If you get $200 or more in a single currency, then you score those points. But if you score under 200, you score that amount minus 100, but to a minimum of zero. You can't lose points on them. So you're trying to invest in different currencies to try to get to that 200 point threshold to start scoring big on them. So it's a really simple game, just a concept or a deck with a bunch of money in it. Really straightforward bidding, just, oh, how much do I want the thing and how much am I willing to spend? And then from
Mhm.
there, you have just tons of player interaction. It only takes a couple hands before you realize that, like, oh, bidding high isn't always good. Sometimes you want to bid low so that you spend fewer cards to get more cards, especially if you kind of pick up on what other people are interested in, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So lots of replayability in this one, and as much as I say I don't like auction bidding games, this one is has that depth that tickles me, and it has me coming back for more, even if I'm not good at it.
I'm glad you got a good doctor on this list
Oh
because,
yeah,
as you said, you know, he's kind of the man for this topic right here.
right, right. Have you tried Money before,
Never even heard of it, to be honest with
Corey?
you.
Have you tried Money? Do you know what Money is?
Yeah, I recite poems for rather than paying in currency.
All right, so that is Money. You can find a current version from All Play in 2025.
Sweet. All right, my next one is one that I played for the first time over the weekend. On Sunday, the designer of Scoville was teaching Scoville because there's a second edition of it coming out from Trick or Treat Studios. So you may have seen this game released in when was it first released? Uh,
Like
all the way back in
2015,
2014.
2014, yeah. Taste
Yeah, so
Minstrel? No, Grail Games.
Girl Games, yep. And they're bringing it back, Trick or Treat Games. I'd never heard of the publisher before, but they're doing a fantastic job with this production. It is Vincent Trey art, so you know it's amazing from the art. It's got this really cool, like sunbathed field, and surrounding the field, there are different locations from the town of Scoville, which is a place where people only eat hot peppers. That's the story that was told. Um, so the concept of Scoville is pretty straightforward. It gets a little intricate with the way that things are handled, but for the most part, the concept here is you are crossbreeding different types of peppers. I think there's 9 different kinds of peppers. They're all represented by these little tiny plastic color-coded pepper pieces. They are colorblind friendly, I will say. They have the letter initial engraved into them,
Oh, neat.
and it is a bidding game in the sense that you are bidding for turn order, which is one of my favorite mechanics in games, and one that I think, I think like Five Tribes is a good example of a master class in that. Where like your turn order matters a lot, but you have to give something up to get the better priority.
Mhm.
Also, Amon Ray is another good one, but I digress. We're on Scoville here, and in Scoville, you're bidding using currency, money, which is only ever used for bidding. It burns down to points at the end of the game. It's like 3-1, but it's hardly worth it. You should spend them on the bidding. Now, there are different phases of the game. There are 3 different phases, and your turn order is going to affect that differently depending on where you end up in that turn order. For example, the first phase is drafting more peppers into your collection. Okay, so you kind of get like a stimulus package of peppers that you didn't harvest. Okay, you get first pick if you go first in turn order. Next, you're going to plant peppers in the field, which is this collective grid, this big old field of peppers. Um, for early in turn order, you get to plant first. Cool, makes sense, right? You would want to do that because you get benefits for planting different kinds of peppers before other players. But the last step and the most important one is actually harvesting those peppers. The person that's later in turn order gets to harvest first, and that might be actually the most impactful part of the game in a lot of scenarios because there's this element of blocking other players' pieces when you do that. So to kind of bring us back to like what the heck is going on in this game, this central grid has all these different colored peppers in it with different spaces, meeple like kind of placement spaces in between them. And on your harvest, you're going to move your meeple around that field, and wherever you place the meeple, the peppers on either side of that meeple, if there are two, are going to crossbreed, and you're going to harvest. You're going to take a pepper of the resulting color. And so you're going to have 3 moves. You're going to crossbreed up to 3 possible peppers, and you add them to your collection to then plant and fulfill recipes later on. So really cool concept. It kind of reminds me of like a pundit square kind of thing. It's like this almost genetics sort of puzzle. Um, and all players end up with this grid that they have to read to interpret which colors they get when they walk different paths. Because a blue and a yellow pepper might yield a purple pepper, for example. I don't know if that's true. I don't honestly remember. But the depth there is kind of a lot because not only are you deciding which direction you're going to take for the best results, but you're also going to try to decide which colored peppers you're going to end up with based on the path you take and what recipes you can fulfill, what you're going to save to plant in future rounds. It's like a whole lot of really heavy decisions in a game that comes off as pretty light altogether and honestly could be taught in like 10 minutes. I think you said you played this one, Harrison, right? You must have played the earlier edition of it.
Yeah, yeah, I played this with, some friends quite a while ago, the original version, and I remember, yeah, the teach being very straightforward. We were playing, like, as soon as we were done setting up. It took longer to set up than to teach,
Hmm.
um, just because there were so many little bits. But yeah, the depth of the strategy here just had my brain burning that first time I played it.
Yeah. I think with repeat plays, you'd have a better feeling for what the combination of peppers would yield. But let's see, there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. There's 10 different peppers. So there's a lot of different combinations and permutations of those that you just have to like every time you move, you're referring to this chart and trying to figure it out. So that's like pretty meaty, pretty weighty for most players. I was feeling pretty stressed out because there was like a lot of talking going on. I was like, I can't concentrate right now. But it was a cool concept and a really great production. Scoville from Trick or Treat Games.
All right. All right, so my next pick is just from one year after Money, the year 2000. I'm going with the oldies this time. This is a favorite that I've talked about many times before, and I think a lot of the depth and complexity from this easy rule set stems from one of the truths that of gaming, that a tile laying game where spatial relativity matters. Uh, there's always tons of gameplay there and stuff to consider. And of course, I'm talking about the classic, none other than Carcassonne, originally published by Hans im Gluck. So Carcassonne is a tile laying game, and the rules are very simple. You just play a tile each turn, and then you may put a guy on it if you want. And just from those simple rules, everything kind of sprawls out from there. You've got different features that you're trying to get your characters on to score them, from roads and fields, cities, and then depending on which expansion you're using, many other things. If you'd like that. And this is a game where you really can just shuffle up, give everyone a tile, and say, "Okay, let's start. I'll teach you as it's going." Maybe play the first couple hands face up so people know what they have. And the depth of strategy. This is a game that I first played, I think, in probably 2009 or 2010, right around when I was getting into the board games bigger. And I still feel like I'm learning like more strategy about this game, and that's why it just keeps staying at the top of my list. Because the more times I play it, the I just feel like I have so many opportunities to be creative and finagle around the rules in different ways and
Mm,
make meaningful tactical decisions every single time.
yeah, finagler on the rules is a good way to put it. That's what this game is all about, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get those cities, swipe those cities from other players. Yeah, there's this idea of heuristics in in understanding games, like in learning games. The zero level heuristics is your interpretation or your understanding of the rules at face value. And then the next level might be understanding the implications of those rules and how those make players behave. Um,
Mm.
and there's just been so many levels of understanding for me on this game. Like the first time I realized you could steal cities from people, I was like, whoa, mind blown. Oh, I can do that with roads too. I can do that with farms. That's crazy. And just all those different things add up to be a very simple game with, I think, endless replayability. And that's not even counting the bajillion expansions this game
Right.
has.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts about this game is the fact that the rules can be taught without even acknowledging those kinds of plays, and then players are just allowed to discover them on their own.
Hmm.
And like what Harrison's referring to is these tiles could have parts of the cities on them, and you combine those tiles to close off the walls on them. The rule is not that you can't have more than one meeple in them. The rule is that you can't place a second meeple in them, when they're connected. So the sneaky thing to do is like have a meeple in a section next to it and then eventually join them together and all of a sudden you've got you've got two in there, right?
Right.
And so that's what, the stealing of the cities looks like, but you don't have to say it for players to figure that out because it emerges pretty quickly in this game.
So yeah, that is my second pick, Carcassonne.
All right, Harrison, my third pick goes back to the college days. I went over to your house one time, you said, and I was like, "Teach me some cool board games," because you were like sort of my spirit guide with this stuff. and
All right.
you had a shelf of like 4 or 5 games. I think you had Dominion on there. You taught me Dominion, and then you're like, "You need to play this game. It's Lost Cities." Lost Cities, 1999, Cosmos Games. The game is simple. It's a two-player game, I should add, and it is a card game where the cards simply are colors and numbers, basically suits and numbers, or they might be a handshake. There is a board that has a representation of each of those colors on it, and players take turns either drawing or playing cards to one of those segments on the board. So the idea here is you don't score any points for any color you don't play to. However, as soon as you play to one of those colors, you immediately start with negative, what is it, 20 points?
It's something like that. I don't remember exactly, yeah. It's a negative value.
Yeah, negative 20, negative 20. So once you play to it, you're committing to trying to score more than 20 points on that. So you're kind of like trying to stockpile these cards in your hand so that you know you can achieve that. And the cards range from 2 to 10 in that suit, and you can only play in an order where they are increasing in value each time. So once you played the 4 in a certain suit, you cannot go back and play the 3 or 2. So those cards are just dead to you. Just discard them. Okay. Handshakes have to be played before all that run is started, and they double the value of that. So if you play a handshake, you're like doubling down on it, and then your opponent's like, "I got the 9 and 10 in that color. They're screwed," you know.
Yep.
um, and so with there being this idea of trying to sort of broadcast your intentions in this game, or not trying to, but you just do, right? That's the idea. There's a lot of card counting and like blocking and defensive strategies that emerge. You have to know, like, you have to understand the math and say, I couldn't possibly make more than 20 with the amount of cards that are left over, knowing what's been discarded. And it's cool because the game end triggers by the deck running out is you can really push that tempo to make it unobtainable for your opponent to break even on their on their stack before they run out of cards too, which is super neat. This game is really cool. It is a simple concept, but has so much neat stuff about it, and so many neat has so much neat depth to it.
That's Reiner Knizia for you.
Yeah. Oh, this is a Reiner Knizia game. I forgot about that. All
Yep.
right, cool. So I got one too.
Yep.
Have you ever played any of the other Lost Cities games, like the Lost Cities board game or anything?
I have not.
I can't imagine they're as good. This one's just like so concise. It's like gets
Right.
right to the point. You can play in like 10 minutes. So, all right, Lost Cities, Cosmos Games is my third pick. Bring us home, Harrison.
Alright. That was another one that made it that was on my short list. I almost included it. Uh, almost included it here. Alright, so my final one is, one that I played again just this weekend to refresh my memory of it, and I am so mad at myself for not having played this game for so long. I checked my BG Stats app to see when the last I haven't played it since 2022,
Hmm.
and that is Kingdom Builder from Queen Games, originally published in 2011. Kingdom Builder is one of those lovely games by Donald X Vaccarino of Dominion fame, and more recently my new favorite Moon Colony Bloodbath. Very simple game with a simple concept of just laying out wooden houses on a hex grid. Each turn, you're going to have a single card that tells you what terrain type you can play in. You put your houses in those terrains. You draw a new card, and the strategy comes from the different ways that you can manipulate where you're able to place. If I have a card with a forest terrain on it and I don't have any houses next to forests, I can place them wherever I want. But I have to place next to my existing houses if I can. So there's this ideas of maybe short suiting yourself, being as next to as few terrains as possible to give yourself more options going forward. And then this game also has modular setup with different boards and different powers that are available to you each game. So I think there's 8 different boards in the game, and each one has different tiles that you can collect to give you powers to help manipulate the board further. And it comes down to just a very simple spreading dudes out on a map and trying to fulfill as many scoring conditions as you can in that game. Very straightforward and simple puzzle that just tickles me every time and benefits from that map tile shenanigans that I mentioned about Carcassonne. There's just so much variety and different ways that you can approach a situation on a map like that it feels endlessly replayable for the very very light rule set.
Harrison, I think you knocked it out of the park with your list. You got some bangers on here, and they're all perfect examples of this. This one's great. I wish I would have thought of this. But
It's a real good game.
yeah, it's a good game, and it's so damn simple. It like you get to it in again a couple minutes, and then it's all about trying to break the rules that you were taught.
Yep.
It seems backwards to want to short suit yourself and get caught in a corner, but that's exactly what you want to do in this game.
Yep.
And then like figure out how to do cheaty things with the building tiles that you get.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know that the theme is, like, really supported in the way that the game works. I'd say it's pretty abstract, but I do like that the theme's there because it's, it's fun to me,
Yeah,
but
yeah, building out your little
that's
kingdom,
pretty
and
cool.
as a two-player game, it is pretty non-combative. You're not often going to get in each other's ways,
Mhm.
but when you get up to 3 or 4 players, nothing changes about the setup, and those boards can get really cramped, and it totally changes the way that the game feels,
Mm.
because now you can try to use other players to short suit yourself to like, oh, I know that he's this player's building towards me in that area. I can cut them off and stop them, or I can try to let them cut me off instead, so I can't finish building this thing and I can go elsewhere. Many layers with more players too.
Nice. Harrison, we've got the big box. You mentioned there's 8 boards in the game. There's more like 30.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I already got the base game. I put the I put, like, all the little map expansions and different things on my BGG wish list ages ago and then just forgot to look at them. And so
Yeah.
I try to keep my eye out for them now and
Yeah.
then, but I haven't gotten any new things. I do have the spiritual successor, the, Winter Kingdom.
Mhm.
I think the story was that the designer during the pandemic was like, I'm just going to remake this game with what I've learned since making the original one. And Queen Games published it again. So Winter Kingdom exists and it's supposed to be like the next iteration. I got that at a recent sale and still haven't played it. So I should get to that.
Hmm. Okay. Harrison, next time we get together, let's play some big box. Let's go deep with some of these
Oh,
expansions,
man.
knowing that you have the experience with the game to handle that. We play this one with the in-laws a lot, and I had it at their house, our big box. And so what I did, I took every bit of expansion pieces and I just dumped them into Ziploc bags and I threw them in the box. And I was like, just ignore that stuff, because they don't want it. Like we just play the base game stuff over and over again until they've
Yeah.
completely mastered it, which is fun. But I'm thinking like, man, there's like 10 more pawns a game in here.
Yep.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
figure out let's figure out what that does.
That is my third and final pick, Kingdom Builder.
Cool. Good list this week. We've got small games, or we've got small teach, big game, and my list includes Innovation, Scoville, Second Edition, and Lost Cities. And Harrison has Money, Carcassonne, and Kingdom Builder. Solid.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can edit that down if you want.
All right, cool. So that takes us to the end, and this is the point where we talk about things that aren't board games. And I'm guessing, Harrison, based on last week's episode, that you have something to say about the new Hollow Knight game. Is that true?
Yeah, I got it. I played I'm doing a lot of playing on it, Corey, and I'm doing very bad and having a very good time.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
I die so much,
Oh,
and I'm loving it. It is great.
oh,
Uh, yeah, no, it's a blast. I've got more than 20 hours logged on it. I'm playing on my Steam Deck. Pretty much all I did last weekend. It's all I want to be doing right now. Trying to speak more quickly and get this over with so I can go play more. Uh,
oh,
yeah, no, it's just been a wonderful time. Since playing the original Hollow Knight, I've played Sekiro and Elden Ring, so like some of the and part of Bloodborne, some Bloodborne. So I played more of those FromSoft games,
mhm,
and I think my mental state is better for a game that wants you to really master its mechanics, and failure is a frequent thing. Um, I've read like some reviews and comments online about it, and there a common complaint is that the game it feels significantly more difficult and more punishing than the first one.
hmm,
Um, but I'm really loving that. Like the game looks gorgeous, it plays super well. I rarely feel like I'm being cheated by the game. Like when I die, it's not because the game took advantage of me. It's because I got impatient or I made a mistake. And that's the most satisfying challenge to overcome.
mhm. Hmm. The way you
Yeah.
set that up at first, I thought you were gonna say that it was not good, but you were just saying it's hard.
Yes.
I can hear you, and I think for some people those might be synonymous, but I guess you have to understand that feeling like you've achieved and accomplished something is worth the effort of learning it sometimes, and video games tend to really reward these quick thrills, um, which is a common complaint of teachers. It's like, you get this, like, instant gratification from everything you download on your phone or in your PlayStation that I'm shocked and excited that there's this kind of resurgence of, like, kinda mastering a craft, and yet it's still a video game, right? But just
Right.
having, like, to kinda teaching the wherewithal of, developing those skills and honing those skills in order to achieve the results rather than just seeing them immediately.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's that. And there's just also just playing a good video game sometimes, like it's
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
just is firing on all cylinders. Yeah, no, that it for those that are really like invested in Hollow Knight or in the Metroidvania type genre in general, this the exploration action platforming type game,
Mhm.
it breaks some conventions in kind of surprising ways. It feels to me the biggest being that every equivalent of a boss fight uh, doesn't always have a tangible reward attached to it. It's not like
Hmm.
fight big bad, get new thing, fight big bad, get new thing. Sometimes it's just you got to pass this challenge before you can move on with the game. So that's been a weird adjustment to really get used to because those I am so used to those games like, ooh, if I beat this boss, I wonder what I'll get. Um, and just the way that the game is built, I've slowly like reframed to the satisfaction is overcoming the challenge, not the reward that you receive afterwards.
Yeah, the concept of just seeing rewards and upgrades showering your characters as you progress. I mean, that kind of comes from an RPG uh,
Right. Yeah.
genre, right? And it wasn't always a part of, especially platformers. I'm thinking of
Right.
like the Sega games I used to play in the day. Is like I was the same character at the beginning and the end of that game. I just like had to learn how to play it better, and that was
Yep.
the increase. So yeah, just I mean, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. Start works too, but
Sure,
cool.
sure it does. And I'll give a little shout out to a non-game thing at all. I installed a new garbage disposal all by
Oh
myself this
yeah,
weekend.
Harrison.
Ours was broken for longer than I care to admit, compared to how easy it was to replace, but it felt good that I replaced it. So didn't need a plumber, didn't need an electrician, did my little bit of research. Turns out this is one of the things you can safely do without knowledge of plumbing or electricity, because I just got a wallet plug-in for it. But yeah, it was good.
Nice. Yeah, it's not too bad if you're thinking about doing it at home. It's like a $30 thing, and you just got to make sure you turn your sink water off because when I was doing this, you have to crawl under your sink to do it, and your head's like 2 inches from the bottom of the plumbing.
Oh yeah.
I unhooked the hose from the water attached to my kitchen sink, and I didn't twist it all the way off at the time, and it was just showering me in water, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough, and so I'm, like, shouting to Nikki, I was like, Go turn the water main off downstairs." But, yeah, like, leaked through the floor into the basement, it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was a little more expensive because we sprung for 3/4 horsepower for a garbage disposal,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, it was a proud moment.
Yeah, I'm sure you got done with that, you, like, clapped your hands together, "Job well done," went out to the
Yep.
garden, got some stones, threw those puppies in there, see how it worked.
Yeah. Nope. How about
Awesome,
you?
yeah, I would
Anything you want
recommend
to
it.
share?
Nah, I went to
All
Strong
right.
Tower, we already talked about it.
Cool.
Alright, well, next time we're gonna share, dexterity games, aren't we?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
itching to flick some games around in our brains
I
across
don't
the airwaves. Something.
Yeah, this is definitely not my wheelhouse, so I'm gonna have to go out of my way to try some of these guys before next week. But good
I'm
topic,
hoping
though.
it gets me to play my two favorite ones more
Mm.
frequently because it is a little bit harder to get to the table sometimes. But I've got at least two on my shelf that I'm excited to talk about next week.
Crazy Bones and Pogs.
You'll have to tune in next week to find out.
Okay. Alright, catch you next time on Adamantly Analog.
Bye, everyone.
Adamantly Analog is Corey Murphy and Harrison Dunn. Original themes and bumper music by Corey Murphy. Reach us at adamantlyanalog@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.